Hello, Grissom Choir. This is Level 18 Music Theory Review. The main concept of Level 18 is identifying and notating inverted triads and their types in the major key, other than building on the tonic, which is what we did in Level 16. You have to remember, key to the root for the Roman numeral and the type is from our chart that we learned in Level 17. We either have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or a diminished 7. Let's go through this first example step by step. First, we identify the key signature that we are in. We have 4 flats in the key. We look at that next to last flat. That next to last flat is on A flat, so we are in the key of A flat major. Now we look at the Roman numeral. The Roman numeral is 3, which means that the chord is going to be built on the 3rd scale degree of A flat major. So we have to count up 3 notes, counting the bottom note as 1 from A flat. So we have A flat, then we have B flat, and then the 3rd scale degree of A flat major is C. Now we draw the chord, or we spell out the chord based on C. So that would be C, E, and G, skipping notes in between. So this would be line, 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 or space, space, space. Now we have to look at the inversion. We learned about first and second inversions in Level 16. We look at the little number that is drawn next to the Roman numeral. 6 means that we are in first inversion. First inversion meaning the 3rd of the triad is on the bottom. And if it was 6-4, that means that is in second inversion, meaning the 5th of the triad is in the bottom. This example, the 3rd of the triad is on the bottom. So that means the E, because it is the 3rd note in that triad. Technically, it is the 2nd note in the triad, but it's the 3rd scale degree of that triad. So our chord would be E on the bottom, G in the middle, and then up top, C. Now what you have to do is correlate that to the staff. So we would find E, we would draw E. Then we would draw G, and then we would draw C up top. So the 2nd note of the triad, which is the 3rd of the chord, is on the bottom. E, G, and C. You do not have to worry about putting the flats next to the E because it is already flat in the key signature. Let's use these same concepts and do these first 2 examples together. Looking at this first example, we look at the key signature. 1 sharp tells us that we are in the key of G major. Now we look at the Roman numeral. The Roman numeral is 2. So we count G as 1, and we go up 1 in the staff or forward 1 in the alphabet. We would go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then start over on A. So this 2nd scale degree in G major would be A. Now let's go ahead and draw the chord. We have A, C, and E. Line, 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 or space, 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 meaning that we skip a letter in between. A, C, and E. The 6 means that we are in first inversion. First inversion means that the middle note of the chord, which is the 3rd note of that chord, is on the bottom, just like that first example we did. So that means that a 2-6 would be C, E, and then A on top. Now all we have to do is correlate that to the staff. We find C, so C would be the 3rd space. Then we would do E, and then we do a ledger line and draw A. That would be a 2-6, a 2 first inversion in the key of G major. This second example, flats. We look at the next to last flat. That tells us the key signature. We are in the key of E flat major. Counting that E as 1, we now have to go to the 4th note in that scale, the 4th scale degree. So that would be E, F, G, and then the 4th scale degree would be A. Now we draw the chord. based off of A, skip a note, C, skip a note, and E. It just so happens to be very similar to the previous example. But this time, instead of doing the first inversion, which is just 6, we're doing second inversion, the 6-4, which means that the last note of the chord, that fifth scale degree of the chord, is on the bottom. So then that would be E, A, C. Then we translate that over to the staff. We find our E, then we draw the A, then we draw the C. Remember, it is already flat in the key signature. You already have a flat in the key signature on the E and the A, so there is no need to put the flat symbols next to those notes. Now that we've done these first two examples, power through and do these last 4, and then when you're done, you can play the video and we'll see what you get right. This next example, we have one flat in the key signature. That is oddball F. We're looking for the third scale degree, so we count that F as 1. 1, 2, 3. So that would be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, then start over on A. Now we build that chord again on A. So that would be A, C, E. First inversion, meaning the middle note of that chord is on the bottom, C, E, and then A up top. Then all you got to do is translate that over. C, E, draw that ledger line, A. No sharps, no flats in the key signature means that we are in the key of C major. We are looking for the diminished 7th chord in first inversion. So the 7th of the 7th scale degree of C, that would be C, D, E, F, G, A, B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we would draw the triad based on B. That would be B, D, and F. We're looking for the first inversion, meaning the middle note of the chord is on the bottom. So then that would be D, F, and then B up top. Now all we have to do is draw it in. D, F, draw the ledger line, and B. If you wanted to, you could draw it an octave below. D, F, and B. Either would be correct. 5 sharps. 5 sharps, we look at the last sharp, go up 1. 5 sharps would be B major. We're looking for a chord built on the 5th scale degree. Counting B as 1, we would go B, C, D, E, and F. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So F would be our root of the chord. So then we go F, skip a note, A, skip a note, C. We are looking for the first inversion, meaning the middle note of that chord is on the bottom, which would be our A. So that would be A, C, and then F. Now you translate that over to the staff. You find A, C, and then F. Once again, remember everyone, these are sharped. However, all 3 of these sharps can already be found in the key signature, so there is no need for you to put sharps next to them. This last example, 6 sharps. Look at the last sharp. Go up 1. We are in the key of F sharp major. We're looking for a chord built on the 6th scale degree of F sharp major. Counting that F sharp as 1, we would go F, G, A, B, C, D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We would draw a chord based on D, so that would be D, skip a note, F, skip a note, A. The 6-4 tells us we're looking for a second inversion, meaning that top note of the chord is actually on the bottom. So then we would go A, D, and F. Translate that over to the staff. We would find our A, then we would go up to the D, then the F. And again, these are all sharped in the key signature, so there's no need to put a sharp next to them. You also have to understand that this works backwards as well. Identifying the following triads with the correct type and inversion in the major key. So let's take a look at this first example. First example is already done for us. So it will give you the inversion of the chord. So we look at this example, we name the key signature. The key signature is A flat major, looking at that next to last flat. We write down the notes of the triad, and then we put them in order. So these notes would be F, B, and D. The correct order would be B, D, and F because of where this gap is. We find the key to the root of the Roman numeral. So the root of that chord is B. B is the second scale degree in A flat major. We also can figure out that it is in the second inversion based on where this gap is and what note is on the bottom. The note that is on the bottom is the fifth of that chord. Now all you would have to do is write the Roman numeral down and the inversion after figuring out what is on the bottom, the third or the fifth. Let's look at these next two examples together. Find the key signature. Look at the last sharp, go up one. We're in the key of E major. These notes that are written down are B, F, and D. Now, based on where this gap is and our knowledge of the line, space rule for the triads, we can figure out that the root of the chord is B, and then it would be D and F. So B is the root of the chord. Now we have to figure out what scale degree B is in relation to E. So E, F, G, A, and B. E is 1, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would be, in the key signature, 5. Now we have to find the inversion. The fifth of the chord, the third note of the chord, is on the bottom, which is is B. So that means that that second inversion is what is happening here. So this would be 5, 6, 4. This next example, we are once again in the key of G major because we have one sharp and we go up one. The notes that are written here are G, B, and E. Based on this gap and based on the line, space rule, we can identify that E is the root of the chord, followed by G and B. Now we have to count in the alphabet from G, which is our key, all the way up to the root of the chord, which is E. So that would be G, A, B, C, D, E. Counting G as 1, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This would be a chord that is built off of the 6th scale degree. Now we have to find the inversion. The inversion would be 6 because it is in first inversion and the G is on the bottom. Now pause the video, take time to do these last 4 examples, and you can play the video when you are ready to move on. Moving on to this example. Find the key signature. The key signature would be, looking at this last sharp, which is on G, go up 1, would be an A major. These notes are E, C, and G. The root of the chord is C, C, E, G. It would be built on the 3rd scale degree because we are counting A as 1, 2, 3, A, B, and C. This scale degree triad would be in the 2nd inversion based on where this gap is and based on what note is on the bottom. Moving on to this next example, key signature would be B flat major. We are identifying these notes, B, E, G, putting them in order. E would be the root of the chord, E, G, B. We count from B to E, so that would be B, C, D, E, 1, 2, 3, 4. We are in the 4th scale degree in 2nd inversion because B is on the bottom, the 5th of that triad. Oddball F key signature when the key of F major with 1 flat. These notes are C, F, and A. Based on the gap and the line, space, 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 F, A, C is our proper triad. We would be building this on the root of the key signature, which is 1. We would be in 6/4 inversion because the 5th of the triad is on the bottom. Last example, no sharps, no flats. We're in the key of C major. These notes are D, F, and B. Putting them in the correct order, the chord is built on B, D, and F. Counting from C to B, and C being 1, we would figure out that we are building this chord on the 7th diminished scale degree. And we would be in 2nd inversion because the D is on the bottom of this chord. So that would be 7 diminished 6th. It is so very important that you know 16 and 17 in order for you to do level 18 successfully.